Hello Battlecats players, my name is Chance and welcome to my guide. Today we're going to be covering another Sengoku War Gods event, Uber. More specifically, we're talking about Maeda Keiji. And as always, it is my hope that throughout exploring really everything there is to know about Maeda Keiji, that you can make a more informed decision on not only how to best use them, but also how far to invest into them, if at all. Now then, let's first get started by taking a look at the evolutionary line. Starting out with Maeda Keiji itself, whose description reads, a warrior that was transformed by the legendary cat armor into a tiger-type general. Area attack, resistant to black, more damage when hurt. Then at level 10, it becomes War God Kenji. The legendary cat armor evolved and sprouted a cherry tree from his head. Area attack, resistant to black, more damage when hurt. Then at level 30, as well as the introduction of some XP and Catfruit, you have the Immortal Keiji. As the cherries blossom, so does Keiji's Battle Fury. Resistant to black, immune to wave attacks, area attacks, and grows stronger when he takes damage. Now then, let's move on to taking a brief overview of the performance of Maeda Keiji and its various evolutions. Firstly, as far as class goes, this unit is considered to be a mid-ranger and a tanker, mid-rangers being units with a range of 250 to 399, and tankers being units that have extremely high HP and durability, typically taking hits from enemies without being knocked back, and used as a kind of better meat shield in some cases. There are going to be a lot of stages where meat shields just aren't really a viable form of stalling or protecting your front line, so relying on tankers instead tends to make more sense. Under pros, you have very cheap and short recharge time, fast attack rate in true form, great DPS in true form, high health and evolved in true form, and good range for a tank at least while in true form. Under cons, you have low DPS when not strengthened, this is true for the normal and evolved, and somewhat low movement speed. As far as other considerations go, of course you have the resistant to black enemies, also known as tough, and this essentially allows 1/4 damage received from the aforementioned type, in this case black enemies. With fruit treasures it's possible to get that to 1/5 the damage taken. You also have strengthens by 100% at 30% health, made 50% health in true form, and immune to waves in evolved and true form as well. Now then, let's check out some gameplay and talk strategy for Keiji. Firstly, as far as costs go, Chapter 1 this unit will cost 2,390 cents, Chapter 2 3,585 cents, Chapter 3 4,780 cents. As far as how to best use Keiji, it's one of those things where having him will make black stages substantially easier. There are some notable black stages. Good examples are the Grim Strikes Back, Black Premonition, Dark Descent, kind of anything really focused on black that's difficult, either due to enemies being scaled to the moon or just a very large amount of spam. It is one of those things as well where if you were able to combine this unit with another anti-black unit like Pizza Cat, for example, you're really able to dominate virtually all of the XP stages in the game. The XP stages are kind of in a weird spot where they become substantially less valuable the longer you play the game, but if you're starting out and you have this Uber, it's probably worth getting to true form just for sake of clearing the XP stages faster and speeding up your development in the Battlecats game at the same time. Interestingly enough, the wave immunity helps make him a prime counter to Toucan, so if you're struggling with that particular enemy, having Keiji in your lineup might actually be the difference maker. Now then, let's take a look at some cat combos. First up, we have Choppers. This is unit attack up of the small variety involving Executioner, Axe Cat, and War God Keiji. This combo's, it's okay. So it kind of suffers from the issue with a lot of combos, that being that there are just simply better alternatives. And to be honest, for a 3-cat-cat combo, this is somewhat lackluster. Even just go Cool Japan at that point if you're planning on using this, but I don't know, it's one of those things. Let me know if you disagree down beneath. Up next, you have In Bloom. This is a freeze effect of the small variety involving War God Keiji and Flower Cat, and increases freeze duration by 10%. I actually kind of like this. I'm a very big fan of using freeze in stages. I think it is quite arguably one of the most effective status effects in the game. So to have a 2-cat-cat combo here makes sense. As far as what stages you'd use this on specifically, it's hard to say. It really depends on the rest of the lineup, but there are a few very, very good freezing cats that can target, well, if not black enemies, certainly traded enemies. So it's one of those things where if you have a couple of those, throw those on your team, this will increase their effectiveness by a very large margin. And lastly, we have Blossoming. This is a effective of the small variety involving War Guard Keiji, an adult cat, and increases the effectiveness of the resistance trait by 10%. This is fine in theory. I'm not a huge fan of adult cat, but there are some interesting combos that an adult cat is part of that has some interesting interactions with the cat combos that War Guard Keiji has. So there is maybe some doubling down of cat combos if you really want to. However, in this particular case, I don't think it would be as effective as just being a little bit more selective with the cats in your lineup and the combos they create thereafter. Once again, let me know what you think down beneath. Now, as far as the Catfruits, you're going to need to true form this unit. You're going to need 3 green fruits obtainable every Monday, 8 purple fruits obtainable every Tuesday, 4 blue fruits obtainable every Thursday, 6 red fruits obtainable every Wednesday, and 4 epic cat fruit, which you obtained on any of the growing stages to some degree, however not growing strange and growing evil. And once you complete an ancient curse, you'll gain access to the growing epic stages for a few hours every weekend. And you'll need the standard uber amount of 1 million experience points. Now then, I'm just going to flash a couple charts on screens pertaining to the stats of this unit. Feel free to screenshot or have a peek if you're interested, while at the same time as reading some trivia. Maeda Keiji was the nephew of Maeda Toshi. Both were historical figures in the Sengoku period of feudal Japan. Prior to version 4.0, Kenji lacked the strengthen ability, and prior to version 9.7, he lacked wave immunity. And also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how damn cool the design of this unit is? Like, this is one of those units where it like tells a cohesive, kind of just like nice story, you know? Like, this guy was basically put in this cursed armor, and he had to just deal with it to the best of his ability, and it kind of started to grow a tree out of his head, and eventually he uses that burden as a weapon of sorts, which is kind of neat. I don't know, I kind of like it. He also has a festive variant that we'll be covering much later in the channel. I'm looking forward to doing that as well. It's kind of one of the more interesting designed festive units, so yeah, I hope a lot of you stick around and check out that. In any case, I would also like to say that I've gotten a lot of positive responses to the channel review that was published for August there. Thank you to everyone who's said kind words. It definitely makes making this channel a lot easier and a lot less, I don't know, stressful, I guess. Don't get me wrong, working on YouTube is still kind of a pain, always will be, always has been, but having a good support and community around me definitely makes doing it a lot more bearable. Now then, let's move on to talents. As far as available talents go, Kenji has access to Attack Up, which upgrades the strength and attack power by 23% and improves by 3% per level up to 50% for a total NP cost of 175. Resist Weaken, which reduces weaken duration by 16%, improves by 6% per level up to 70% for a total NP cost of 175. Cost Down, which reduces the cost of the unit by 30 cents, 45 cents, and 60 cents, depending on what chapter you're in, per level up to 300, 450, and 600 cents for a total NP cost of 175. And then you have the standard attack and defense buff, which increases the respective traits by 2% per level up to 20% for a total NP cost of 175. Now, as far as how to look at these, honestly, all of them, with maybe the exception of the Resist Weaken, are worth investing into. As far as the proper strategy to do it, I would say start with defense buff, as he's a tanker first and foremost, so a larger health pool will benefit him the most. Follow that up with an attack buff, and then the strengthen, and probably lastly the cost down. With how valuable NP is, I might not recommend investing into the Resist Weaken. If you find it's coming up a lot and really holding this unit back, then maybe it's worth investing into, but I feel like those circumstances are going to be few and far between for most people, so that's the last one I would really recommend taking a serious investment into. But now that you know what I think about Kenji, let's take a look at what all of you had to say about him. Starting out with the guy 6680 who says, "The king himself. He's honestly one of my favorite Ubers in the game. He's so extremely strong, versatile, and cheap. And his wave immunity, you just can't go wrong to put him in a lineup." Fair enough. I actually think he's a really good unit as well, and on some stages he just absolutely dominates. The XP stages come to mind, but there are a couple tricky black stages that are just made infinitely easier by Kenji. Really, I think a good rule of thumb is if you're struggling with black enemies at all, at least try throwing them on the team and see if it's a difference maker. I feel like for the most part it will be, but he could be the missing key to your puzzle, you know what I mean? Up next, we have that Carl dude who says the best the best tank in the game for black enemies, and also is a good generalist. So nice save there, and once again, he's a really good unit. And then, of course, the ever-present Bee-Eater says, people who say, oh yeah, Keiji is good, nobody used him, he tank, that's exchanges being really, really tanky with high damage. Not too sure if I read that correctly. Also, funny piss Kenji in winter. Yeah. His winter variant is kind of strange for sure. I am looking forward to doing it. Just, I don't know, it's one of those things. Up next, we have Cross/01 says he's great, but doesn't like sugary cereal. He prefers barley tea and nostalgic stories. Yeah, he does seem, I don't know, like the more, I guess, like wise version of Tony the Tiger, or I don't know. I see where he's going there. I'm freaking stupid says probably good, and yeah, he's pretty dang good for sure. And Metal Slug with a strange character says very good unit. If you can't read that, that's what it says. In any case, thank you so much everyone who shared their thoughts on this unit. If you would like to be featured in a video in this way, be sure to comment on the relevant community post in our community tab. And that about wraps up everything when it comes to War God Keiji, or I guess Maeda Keiji, War God Keiji, Immortal Keiji, Keiji in general, you know what I mean. Be sure to share your thoughts down beneath in the comment section. And if there's anything I missed or got wrong or misexplained, please be sure to correct me as well. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much everyone, and as always, I will be talking to you all soon.